You know, it's like, look at any game that exists on this earth since thousands of years ago up till now, whether it's a board game, a card game, or a video game. What makes the game? The rules. It's the rules of the game that make the game. You can do this and you can't do this. And you agree to play that game because it's fun, right? To use your contemplative powers to figure out how best to manipulate or, you know, control or outsmart or, you know, utilize or whatever that is for the best results, for winning, right? The point of every game is to win, right? And it's the rules that make the game. It's the rules that give the game meaning. So it's the same thing with life. Life is a game. And there's infinite levels. So you may be at a level of consciousness where it appears that you're at the last level. And you're like, oh, I'm at the last level. I'm finally breaking through. Right? But the real truth is that even myself, I'm only aware of, right now, 0.00001% of the infinite of the universe. Right? But my goal in the game that I'm playing isn't to become aware of everything, right? Because everything is nothing. If I was aware of everything, then I would be nothing. There would be nothing. It's only in the separation, it's only in the contrast, it's only in the confines and the rules of the game that the game exists. So the real truth is that we're all here because we came here to play the game. We came here to have an experience of being alive. Right? And we've all got our unique, you know, look. We've all got our unique desire, our unique purpose. And, you know, most people honestly are playing a competitive game. Right? They're constantly comparing themselves and being compared. Right? And they're living with rules of better and worse, of right and wrong, of good and bad. And those are rules that everyone is playing by, generally speaking, which therefore dictates the experience of the game that we're having. But the truth is that it's possible to change the rules of the game. Now, some rules are a lot harder to change than others, but all rules are changeable. Because all rules are just based upon our participation. It's only our participation that gives that rule power. And it's just like with every other game. This is why I like to use like a board game, because it seems like a lot easier to comprehend, like chess, for example. You know, it's like if two people sit down and play in chess, they're agreeing to the game, to the rules of that game, because they like the rules of that game, because it creates for them a fun experience. If they don't like the rules of that game, they don't play that game. The difference between chess and life is that people are aware that they don't have to play chess if they don't want to. They're aware that they don't have to follow those rules if they don't want to. And so, generally speaking, the only people that play chess are the people that like playing chess. If you don't like playing chess, you don't play it. There's also games like, say, Monopoly, for example. It's very common that Monopoly, there's like house rules, right? So it's a game that has rules in the book, and yet the house or the family that plays it on a regular basis, they create their own rules, their house rules, right? Because it's more fun. And as long as everybody agrees to those house rules, right, then a contract has been established. And these are now the rules of the game because we decided these are the rules of the game. And so now we all play according to those rules because we've agreed upon them. Those rules now are birthed. Right? Those rules didn't exist until you gave them life, until you gave them attention, until you agreed to them. And now all of a sudden they're affecting the whole experience of the game that we're having. The game is now different because of those rules. So life is the exact same way. We are living by rules. And the goal really isn't to live without rules, because without rules there's no game and there's no experience. Right? It's just like the goal is not to get to heaven. It's not to actually get to enlightenment. It's not to get to the end, because then it's over. It's done. The real goal is to be happy. The real goal is to enjoy oneself. And this is something that has become very apparent to me over the years, because I know what it's like to be miserable. I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to hate. I know what it's like to despair, to be hopeless. and it's very dark. It is very, very, very dark, and it's not enjoyable. It does not feel good. In fact, it feels so bad that in the true experience of misery, of pain, of despair, of hopelessness, the only thing you can think of that's enjoyable is death. Is to be released from that, to escape from that because it's so horrible. Right, so I know what that's like. And I also know what it's like to feel really good. I know what it's like to love. I know what it's like to be inspired. I know what it's like to be creative. I know what it's like to be passionate. Passion is one of my favorite experiences. Right, so I have purposefully devoted my entire life to creating programs, to creating rules which facilitate and support a game with such experiences as love, fulfillment, health, passion, creativity, inspiration. Because that's what feels good. What I have found is that when life sucks, it doesn't matter how much you have. It doesn't matter whether you're a millionaire, whether you have houses on beachfront properties around the world. It doesn't matter whether you have 18-year-old wife with breast implants. Right? It just really doesn't matter. When you're unhappy, everything sucks. It all sucks. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you're with. It doesn't matter what you have. The same thing is also true when you feel really good. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you're with. When you have those true moments of just connection and inspiration and love, and most of us have experienced feeling really good at some point in time. Whether that was through, drugs or alcohol, whether that was through some, creative process, whether that was through sex, whether it was, from achieving something that was really important to us. Most of us have experienced feelings of ecstatic bliss or joy or happiness or connection or fulfillment at some point in time. Right? And that's what we really love. And the truth is that people that go to college to get an education, or the people that save up to get a nice car, or the people that save up, or work really hard to get nice clothes, they don't really actually want the car, the house, the clothes. They don't actually want any of those things. What they really want is to feel good. And this is what I figured out about myself, and this is what I've actually figured out about everyone else, is that people just want to feel good. And one of my favorite studies that really proves this, and you can find this study online, it's really profound, it's really powerful. Studies have been done on hundreds of thousands of patients on their deathbed, where they go to hospitals, they go to retirement homes, places like this where there's a lot of people dying, and they ask them a set of questions. They ask everyone the same set of questions, and there's not that many questions, and they're really simple, direct questions, such as what do you regret the most? What do you wish you did more of? What would you have changed about your life? And like 95% of everybody responds basically the exact same. Almost every single person says they wished that they told the people that they loved them more, and that they spent more time with the people that they loved the most. That's like the number one thing. One of the number one things also is, I wished that I worked less. And the other thing is, I wish I spent more time doing the things that I really loved, my hobbies, my creative passions, art, crafts, sports, whatever it is that, they really enjoy doing. And yet, if you look at the world, right, almost everybody, and this includes, I've been to every continent in the world except for Antarctica. I've been to really, really, really poverty-stricken third world countries. In Africa, I've been to India, Central America, South America, places like this, where people are literally living on $1 a day. And yet those people are still spending the majority of their day and week working. In fact, in India, I remember walking down the street in a very poverty-stricken town, and there was this girl, maybe like 10 years old, and she was holding this little metal tray. And on this metal tray, there was like a quart-sized bottle of vegetable oil, which here in the States would cost, $1.50, $2, and a little shot glass. And she was literally selling shot glasses of oil so that people could come, because they couldn't afford to buy the whole bottle of oil, because they're only making like $1 a day for their whole family. All right, so they'd come and buy a shot glass of oil to cook their dinner. And that was her job. She would literally spend like 8-10 hours a day on the side of the street holding this platter to make the accumulative profit of, say, 25 cents a day. And of course, she doesn't get any of that. It all goes to her parents. I mean, it is like, I mean, guys, it is just, it is really, 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 really profound, dark truth. In the United States, I mean, you've got people that are working 40 hours a week, and they're still on food stamps, they're still on welfare, you know, they're still on things like this. You've got, you know, people that are, you know, in a household with 2 parents that have children, and they're both working 40 hours a week, and they're still in debt. You know, so if you look at this study, right, and you come to the conclusion, which the conclusion that I have come to, which seems very logical, which is the things that are most important in life is being happy. And, you know, what do we associate with real happiness? Being with the people we love the most and doing the things that we love the most. Duh. Right? But then again, like I said, if you look at the world, that's not the way the world is working. It's not the way the world is operating. People in the richest country in the world, this country, are spending almost all their time working. And really, the more money you have, the less you even see your children. And most likely, the more strained your relationship is, and so it's less enjoyable even. You know, you may have deep inside of your heart a feeling of love for your children, and yet the interactions that you're having with them are not really loving. Because the child has all this deep-seated anger and resentment for their parents, because their parents never spent time with them. And they've learned to accept it, you know, as the way it is, and they've learned to spend money and have nice clothes and have nice cars and, you know, sort of enjoy the pleasures and benefits of that money, but with inside of themselves, they're actually hurt. And they're angry. And then these things, they perpetuate out throughout life. They spiral out throughout our life. So my point being is that the things that are really most important, really pretty much everyone agrees upon these things. It's very simple, it's very obvious. Especially the people on their deathbeds who are most critically aware. Right? And yet simultaneously, we as a culture, we as a human species on Earth are not really living that way. We are doing the exact opposite. We're not as healthy as we want to be. We're not as free as we want to be. We're not in as love as we want to be. We're not as happy as we want to be. We're not doing the things we really want to do. We're actually spending a lot of time doing things we don't want to do. We're spending a lot of time participating in things that we disagree with, but we're doing it anyways because we need to get paid. Right? And that raid, right, that happened here a couple years ago is just a perfect example, because, you know, they literally came in with a warrant which was totally bogus. There wasn't a single fact, a single substantiated fact, nor a confiscation, nor a charge whatsoever related to that warrant. And everyone at the end of that was aware. Right? They were aware of how ridiculous, you know, of an atrocity it was. And when we asked them, you know, how can you participate in this? How can you allow this to happen? How can you not do anything about this? When we asked them questions like this, everyone responded the exact same way. I'm doing my job. They didn't feel honorable about it. They didn't feel good about it. They didn't feel like it was just. They didn't feel like it was right, but they're still doing it anyways. And this is karma. This is karma, guys, and karma is real. You can't escape karma. You can't. You can pretend, you can deny, you can project, you can avoid, you can run, you can hide, but it always finds you, it always catches you. And karma is literally playing out right now. It's literally playing out right now. It's literally playing out right now. So it doesn't necessarily happen where, you know, those people in the raid, what they did to us is actually directly going to happen to them. But the real truth is that those people are living in a prison. They're living in a prison of every single day, waking up and doing something that they only do because they're getting paid. It's the only reason they really do it. And a lot of people try to justify, they try to tell themselves, oh yeah, you know, I'm a police officer. I'm serving the greater good of the world. I'm helping the world, as they, sit with their radar gun all day writing people tickets. They tell themselves that because if they were to acknowledge the real truth, they couldn't keep doing what they're doing. And parents do this. Unfortunately, I've seen this happen way too many times. A child does something that the parents, for whatever reason, believe is bad. So they start beating the child with a belt, with their hand, with a spoon, with a, freaking fire iron.
Whatever they can pick out their fist.
Whatever they have, right? And they're telling their child, I'm doing this for your own good. That's real, guys. That is happening. Millions of children around the world are experiencing that. I'm doing this for your own good. They have to tell themselves that. They have to justify it. Otherwise, they couldn't keep doing it. The mind, the brain, is a justification machine. It is a justification machine. It can justify anything. Every war that's ever happened, it's all justified. Both sides, they both believe they're right. And they both believe the other side is wrong. And as they kill those people, as they, rape the women, as they pillage the towns, as they bomb it, as they destroy it, they're telling themselves that they're doing this for the greater good. They're telling themselves that they're on the right side. I mean, there's no greater example, right? So this is happening. So the real point, I guess, that I'm making is that, one, life, the way it's being experienced, is way less awesome than it could be. And we have to face that. We have to face the darkness, right? We have to face the pain. We have to face the problems, right? But the contrasting truth, the paradox also is that anything is possible. A truly awesome life, no matter how horrible our life is right now, the truth is that anything is possible. Life really could be amazing, right? Life really could be awesome. It really could be healthy. It really could be full of love. It really could be.